Ayan. So, good morning everyone and welcome to another class for Applied Trig lab part. And today we were just gonna have some review sa discuss natin last week. Then we will answer two exercises. And all of this is about triangles and using yung mga net na yung Pythagorean theorem, Sokotowa, mga yun. Alright? Review. What again is the Pythagorean theorem? Anyone? Okay, correct. So the Pythagorean theorem states that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And c is always our hypotenuse. So a, b. Okay. Kung ganun, if I have a triangle that has a side of 3, no, has a side of 6 and a side of 8, what is my hypotenuse? So we have 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared. And don't forget, we square root both sides, so we leave c in just one side. So square root of 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c. 8 squared is 64 plus 36. This is what? 100. Square root of 100 is equal to c. C is 10. Correct. Right? Paano kung, what if this is, what if this is 7 and this is, hmm, 12? What is my missing side? Pretty sure this will be a decimal. So let's go to it together. 7 squared plus x squared is equal to 12 squared. Right? So we have 49 plus x squared is equal to 144. Um, subtract both sides by 49. You leave with x squared is equal to 144 minus 49 is 90. What's this, 95? Okay, 144 minus 49. Yes, 95. And square root both sides to leave it x. We are left with the square root of 95, which is equal to 9.74. But Since 6 yung ano, we round it up. 9.75. Okay, so that's our Pythagorean theorem. Okay. I think given naman yan. Now, we go to Sokotowa. So, si Sokotowa, if you remember, Sokotowa. This states yung what we use, what function we use to get the missing side. So, yung it is sine of an angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Sika, it is the cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And finally, the tan or TOA of an angle is the opposite over the adjacent. Now, given like this triangle, ito yung aking angle. Which one here is my opposite of this angle? What is the opposite of itong angle na to? Ano yung opposite side? Anyone? X. Yes. X is basically the opposite side of this angle. And adjacent would be CY. Alright? So adjacent would be Y. Our hypotenuse is Z. So, ang opposite literally means the opposite of this angle. Ang adjacent means it is the side na hindi yung hypotenuse. Hindi siya yung hypotenuse hindi siya yung opposite. It is the adjacent natin. Alright? So, kahit dito, if we have our angle up here instead, this is y will be the opposite of this angle. X is adjacent to this angle. And z will be our hypotenuse. So, given I have a triangle, and I think angle not, this is 20 degrees. I have a 5 here. What is my x? Again, we have Sokotowa. How do we solve for x? To solve for x, what do we use here? Ito lang, sige. One by one. Which one do we use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Anyone? Sine. Sine, tama. Because we have a value for opposite and we are looking for our hypotenuse. Opposite over adjacent. So, sine 20 is equal to 5, that is our opposite, over x, our hypotenuse. We leave x in one side. To do that, we multiply x on both sides and divide both sides by sine 20. So, x is equal to 5 over sine 20. Get a calculator. 5 divided by sine 20. You're left with 14.61. Round it up. 14.61. 62. That is our x. How about y? What is our y? What do we use here? Sine, cosine, tangent. Given a angle of 20 degrees, tangent, tama. Because we have an opposite, we are looking for our adjacent. So we use TOA or tangent. So tangent of 20 is 5 over y, because opposite over adjacent. And we do the same thing again. Y is equal to 5 over tan 20, which is equal to 5 over tan 20, 13.73, we round it up, 13.74. Okay. Oh, yeah. Refresh na ba? I'll give one more. One more example. One more sample. So, given that this is a 70-degree angle, my hypotenuse is 20. What is my x? What is the length of x? Again, which one do we use? Sine, cosine, tangent? Sine, because they have our opposite. That's what we're looking for. We have a hypotenuse, a 20. So, uh, sine 70 is equal to x over 20. Or we use the opposite over hypotenuse. We leave x in one side, so we multiply both sides by 20. So, 20 times sine of 70, we are left with 18.79. Right? Paano kung y? What is our y? Si y, given na wala tayong x na to, we use sine, cosine, or tangent. Which one do we use? Cosine. Yan. Okay. So, gets naman. So, our cosine of 70 is equal to y over 20 is our adjacent. Multiply both sides by 20. And the answer to this would be 20 times cosine of 70. Oops. 20 times the cosine of 70, 6.84. Right? Okay. Mukhang naalala niyo naman. How about the inverse? If you remember our inverse ratio, we use SOHCAHTOA pa rin. Oh wait, let me just return that. Yan. We still use SOHCAHTOA, but we have to do the inverse of it. So we use this inverse ratio or this inverse function if we are looking for our angle. Given the right triangle to, let's say I have 7 here, and given this is 14, what is my angle x here? So same thing, we use SOHCAHTOA. What do you have? We have opposite, we have our hypotenuse, we don't have adjacent, so we use sine. So instead of sine, we use arcsine, or the inverse sine of the opposite over adjacent, 7 over 14. This will give my angle x. So we put it up here, 7 divided by 14. Then, if you're using calculator sa computer nyo, make sure naka-scientific kayo. Trigonometry, press the second, we have the inverse of sine. Oops, what happened? No. 7 divided by 14, inverse of that, nope. Inverse of 0.5, it is 30. This is 30 degrees. Okay? Paano kung let's erase this. Sige. What if ito naman yung hanapin natin. This is my angle x. Given I have a 8 here and a 11 here. What do I use here? So I can find out the angle of x. Tan, correct. Or si tan -1, or the inverse of tan. So tan -1, we have 8 as our opposite, 11 as our adjacent. We are left with x. If we answer that, 8 divided by 11, and then inverse of tan. Oh, go back. 8 over 11, and then the inverse of tan. We have 36.02 or 36.03 because we have to round it up. Right? Any questions so far? Mukhang kung naman yung ano, SOHCAHTOA. None? Okay. So, paano, sige. We'll go stick with that muna. Now, I want you guys to go to your quizzes. You should be able to find our our exercise 3-2. So C3-2, it has multiple questions. Like we have a ladder leaning against a building. The foot of the ladder is 6 feet from the building, and the ladder reaches a height of 14 feet on the building. It's asking for the length and the angles that the ladder makes with the ground and with the wall. Next, we're looking for which statement that can't be used to find the length of x given that triangle, and then more word problems like how this from a point on the ground 25 feet from the tree, the angle of elevation of the top of the tree is 32 degrees. So we have two. We have two values that we can use using SOHCAHTOA to find the height of the tree. Ito naman, you are on top of the barn that is 25 feet and you see the cat. The angle of depression of the cat is 40 degrees. So, how many feet must the cat walk to reach the barn? Finally, given a square whose side is 8 units, find the length of diagonal AC. Okay? So I'll give you guys 10 minutes to answer it. We'll talk about it ng 10, 20. Alright? If you have any questions, feel free to ask here or sa chat. So, there's a ladder that is 6 feet from the building and reaches the height of 14 feet sa building. Ang tanong, ano yung length of the ladder? Given that we have 6 and 14, we can use our Pythagorean theorem, which is 6 squared plus 14 squared is equal to c squared, or our length of the ladder. So we have 36, you have 186, I can calculate, 14 times 14, yeah, 196 is equal to c. If I square it both sides, I'll leave c lang. So, the square root of 9, 10, 12, 2, 3, 2. The square root of 2, 2, 3 is equal to c, or, just to make sure, 6, 196. The square root, we have 15.23. That is the length of our ladder. Then the next question is, what is the angle that the ladder makes with the ground? Ano yung angle nito? We have, again, our opposite, our adjacent. We can use tan, our inverse of tangent. So, tan, -1. If I want to get the angle for the ground, our opposite is 14. Our adjacent is 6. This will give my angle. So if we bring up our calculator, 14 divided by 6, and then arctan, or the inverse of tan, we get 66.8 degrees. That is my angle here. Next question, find the angle the ladder makes with the wall. Ano yung itong angle na to? So actually, given that this is 66.8, we just simply find itong angle na to by doing 180 minus 90 minus 66.8. We will be left with that angle. So 90 minus 66.8, we get 23.2. That is our angle here. Or kung ayaw nyo gawin yun, we can also use our tangent, or inverse tangent. So 6 is my opposite now. 14 is my adjacent. We get 6 divided by 14, arc tan. we get 23.19, but we round it up because of the 8. It is 23.2. All right. So given an angle and a right triangle, this is basically just 90 minus that angle. Okay, okay. Good so far? No questions here? Okay, no questions. Now, which statement cannot be used to find the length of x? So in here, we have to remember Sokotowa. See, tan 16 to tan 16 is opposite over adjacent. Tama to. Cosine 16. So ka would be adjacent over the hypotenuse. So tama to. Tangent 74. Si 74 na to is actually the angle here. The opposite angle. I mean the other angle. So tan 74 is opposite over adjacent. X over 6. Tama to. So we're left with this one, tan 16. To 6. It should be opposite over adjacent. However, ang x is yung numerator, which is mali na. So D is not the right choice here. It's not the right statement that we can use to find x. Okay? Questions there? Kuha naman nun. Sige. Now, we have a tree na in a point, from a point on the ground, 25 feet from a tree. We can just use this now. So we have a tree, and then you have a point that is 25 feet from the foot of the tree, and the angle of elevation of the top of the tree is 32 degrees. So what is the height of the tree? So what do we use here? If we are looking for this, what should we use here? Sine, cosine, tangent. Anyone? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Anyone besides Anna? Okay. Sige. So, we use tangent. So, the tangent of 32 is equal to TOA x, our opposite, over 25, our adjacent. So, we leave x in one side by multiplying both sides by 25. We have 25 tan 32 is equal to x. X is 25. Ano yung sagot niya dito? What is your answer here? Anyone? What did you answer for this number? Nahiya kayo. Our answer for this would be 15.62. Yeah, 15.62. Okay. So the answer here will be 15.62. Now, ito. From the top of the barn, 25 feet tall, you see a cat on the ground. The angle of depression of that cat is 40 degrees. How many feet must the cat walk to reach the barn? Ito. Sagutin niyo to ah. The height of the barn is 25 feet. I am 25 feet. And the cat is around somewhere this point. How how far should the cat walk? Now we have an angle of 40 degrees. Angle of depression of 40 degrees. So what is this angle? Anyone besides Anna? Ano yung angle nito? Tama, it is 50. Why? It is actually the angle of depression. This is our angle of depression of 40 degrees. So that means this angle is 50 degrees. Now we can use that to find the x using what? Sine, cosine, tangent. Well, alam niyo naman to. Using tangent. So, tan 50 is equal to TOA x over 25. Multiply both sides by 25. We have 25 times tan 50. 25 times tan 50. We have 29.79. Okay? Kuha naman. Does everyone understand this part naman? Kung bakit 50 ang ginagamit natin? Why we use tan? Yes, yes. All good? No questions so far? Okay, no questions. I have a square whose side is 8 units. Find the diagonal AC. Ano yung sagot niya dito? What did you guys answer for this? What is the length of diagonal AC? Yeah, medyo. Medyo masyado maraming na, na round off mo doon. 8 square root of 2. Okay, correct. So, answer is 8 square root of 2 or 11 point something something. So, given a square, it is a square, so all sides are equal. And sabi nga, 8 ang isang side. So, ano tong AC na to? We have our right triangle here. We could use Sokotoa for this. Sorry. So we could use Pythagorean theorem here. So we have one side 8. This is 8 as well. One is our hypotenuse. So 8 squared plus 8 squared is equal to x squared. Or actually pwede yung gagawin to. 2 times 8 squared is equal to x squared. Square root both sides. We are left with 8 square root of 2 is equal to x, or 8 times square. Nope, nope. 8 times square root of 2, 11.31. So actually, there's a special, ito yung mga parts of a special triangle. Given these are 45. And this is x, this is x, this is x square root of 2. Yan yung mga special, ano, mga special triangles natin. But anyway, you don't have to memorize that. Okay? Any questions about this? Straightforward naman, no? Mukhang kung naman ng lahat. No questions? Okay. We can go proceed to our 3-3. So 3-3 is just multiple triangles now. For this one, there are multiple triangles that are stuck together and they share sides. So, you have to find y given na itong side lang to ang given, 20. So, what you do, you slowly get there, find out anong side na to, find out anong length ng side na to, you'll be able to find out yung y. Next, rhombus. Na itong si rhombus na to, the measure of angle A is 150 degrees. Draw the diagonal so that they intersect at E. The shorter diagonal measures 10. The diagonals are perpendicular. The diagonals bisect each other. And the diagonals bisect the angles. So what does that mean? Given, I'll delete this. Given my rhombus, given a rhombus, sabi niya 150 to, diba? This is 150. It said here the diagonals are perpendicular. So if you form the two diagonals, this is 90 degrees because they are perpendicular to each other. Okay? The diagonals bisect each other, which means this length of this to here, this length from here to the middle is equal to this length from the middle to this side. Same thing. This side, these two lengths are equal. That's what it means when you bisect. When you bisect it, you split it into half equally. And when you bisect the angles, same thing. You split the angles evenly. So from 150, naging 75, 75. Alright? And the shorter diagonal measures 10. So yun ang yung mga given natin. So you have to find the angle DC. You have to find the length of the sides of the rhombus. So again, rhombus is a special kind of parallelogram because all sides are equal. That is a special property of a rhombus. So find out the sides given itong I'm given the shorter diagonal is 10. Next, ano yung length of the longer diagonal? Hanapin niyo yun. So given those two diagonals, find the area of the rhombus. So there's a special equation for the area of the rhombus. Given diagonals P and Q, if you multiply them together and divide it by 2, you get the area of a rhombus. Okay? So to get the area of the rhombus, you just multiply the diagonals to each other and divide it by 2. Alright, so go answer 3-3. We'll discuss it after 10 minutes. Let's start with these multiple triangles. So given it is 30, 60, we have a 20 here. To get x, we simply use... Sige, anong sagot niyo dito? What is x here? Anyone? 10. Yes, because if you use sine 30 is equal to x over 20. You're left with 20 times sine 30 is equal to x. Sine 30 is 0.5. 20 times 0.5, 10 is equal to x. So 10 to. Now we have 45. We have a 10. What is this side? So we can also use tan. For here, you can use tan. Tan 45. Here, it will be, it will be x. It will be 10 over yung line na to. So z tan, sorry. Yeah, z is equal to 10 over tan 45. Tan 45 is equal to 1. So z is equal to 10. 10 is 10 also. Now we have 60 degrees. We have 10 here. We just have to find out why. Using sine again. Sine 60. It will be 10 over y. Or y is equal to 10 over sine 60. We use our calculator. 10 divided by sine 60. You're left with 11.54. And round it up because of the 7. 11.55. Okay? Kung ano naman. Gets nyo naman to? So ito, actually it uses two kinds of those special triangles. Given that this is 45 and this is 45, if this were x and this were x, this would be x square root of 2. Given talaga yun. Given the side is x, this would be, the hypotenuse would be x squared of 2. Dito then, if this is 30, this is 60. If this were x, this is x square root of 3. And this is 2x. These are like special types of triangles. It is something that you don't even need the calculator to, well, maybe the square root of 2, yes. But kayang-kaya i-solve to without a calculator. Okay, okay? The questions here. No questions. Okay. So we go to our rhombus. Let me just okay. So sabi dito, this is 150. This is 150, right? The shorter diagonal measures 10. This is our shorter diagonal. This is 10 units. The diagonals are perpendicular, which means they form a 90-degree. In here, in here, in here, and in here. They're all 90 degrees. Diagonals bisect each other. So, yung 10 na to, naging 5 siya. Ito yung 5 here, 5 here. Then we have another uh, length. Wala, hindi pa to given. And the diagonals bisect the angles. So itong 150 to kanina, this is now 75, 75. Alright? So first question. What is the measure of angle DEC? Ito yung E natin. DEC, BA. Si DEC, ano yung sagot nyo dito? What is angle DEC? Correct, 90. Because it says here, diagonals are perpendicular. This is 90. And this is medyo a special thing about rhombus. But we can discuss it later. So, what is the length of the sides of the rhombus? What did you get? What did you guys get here? Ano yung sagot niya dito? Ano yung length ng sides? 19.31. So let's solve it. I have a 75 degree here. I have a 90 degree here. So if I use cosine, because I have a adjacent, I am looking for the hypotenuse. So cosine of 75 is equal to 5 over x, given showing x. I isolate x by multiplying both sides by 75, by x, and dividing both sides by cosine 75. 5 times the cosine of 75. Sorry, not times. 5 divided by cosine of 75. You get 19.31. Pero, since 8 yung third decimal, we have to round it up. 19.32 is the right answer. So this is 19.32. And again, this is a rhombus, so all of this is 19.32. What is the length of the longer diagonal? What did, ano yung sagot niya dito besides si Lucas? What is the length of the longer diagonal? Anyone? 25.8. Sige, let us answer together. So, this is our angle 75, right? We know this is 5 because it bisected the it is bisected by the other diagonal. So, na half to. So 5. I want to look for this whole thing, but we can cut it up into 2 because since this diagonal bisects the longer diagonal, we can get for this, and then we can just multiply it by 2. So, using TOA, we're using tan 75 is equal to the y. This is y. Tan over 5. Isolate y. So, 5 times tan 75 is equal to y. 5 times tan of 75. We end up with 18.66. But we don't end there. That is just the half of the longer diagonal. So we multiply it by 2. You get the whole diagonal is 37.32. That is the length of the longer diagonal. Finally, using your answer, so number 3, given the diagonal length of 10, find the area of the rhombus. So the special equation for this is the multiplying both diagonals, 10 times 37.32, and divided by 2. Our area is 100 PQ over 2, 10 times 37.32 divided by 2 is equal to 186.6. This is the area of our rhombus. All right. Any questions or clarifications for this? Wala? Kuha nyo naman. Okay. There's actually another way to solve the area. Well, it is the longer version, which is getting the area of this whole thing and then like ito, and then subtracting yung tong part na to. Actually, sorry. Starting from here. Ayan. That is another way. In case you forgot how to how to get the area of a rhombus, this is another way. It is a bit more, mas marami siyang steps, pero I mean, eventually you would get there naman. All right. Any questions? No questions? Kuha nyo naman. Okay. So if there are no questions, please do submit the exercise before the class ends. And yeah, that's it for today. If you have no questions, then yeah, you guys can go. You can have your Friday and ingat kayong lahat.